I happened to be chatting to a friend of mine yesterday, and this made me think a lot about some misconception out there. It is normal and it's common that for most women will tend to gain weight during pregnancy, whereas some of them, I know some people that actually lose weight during pregnancy. I am one of those that have been blessed to gain a massive amount of weight during pregnancy. And at the moment, I'm breastfeeding, and I've been thinking of ways in which I can be able to start to work on trying to lose that weight. And so I was chatting to a friend of mine, bless him, and he goes ahead and says, you know what? Calorie deficit is the word. And as a nutritionist, of course, I know calorie deficit is the way to go. And if you don't know what calorie deficit is all about, it just means what you eat is less than what your body needs to be able to function. And as a result of that, consequently, you will be able to, body will think we are starving, and it will start to scavenge around your body for any energy that is there stored, and that will mean you start to lose some weight. And so it looks like quite really nice and looks like a very good thing to think about and to talk about calorie deficit, especially to any human being who knows or understands or has been in calorie deficit and that resulted in some weight loss of some sort. However, if you're breastfeeding or if you're feeding another human being, and that is what I was telling a friend of mine, it is a bit different. It looks so obvious to say just go into calorie deficit, but there are some things that you can do as a woman who's breastfeeding that can actually end up impacting the milk letdown that you have or the milk supply for your child. And so as a result of that, when I was thinking about this and I was trying to kind of in a way tell my friend, I agree with what you're saying to me. It makes so much sense, but it's not as black and white as you think. It made me think about it because my friend was like, that's why formula is there, because you can just go ahead and give your child formula and you can be able to have your body back and do whatever you want to do with it, and you can start losing weight as soon as possible. And I was thinking, wait a minute. And he said to me that because I know many people breastfeed because breast milk is free or breastfeeding is free and it's cheap, so to say. Well, I agree to an extent. It's free. You don't have to pay anything. But I know some women that are kind of in a way go through thick and thin to be able to breastfeed their children. I belong to a Facebook group where women are talking, where it's mainly to do with breastfeeding mamas. And I hear women over and over again saying, I can't just breastfeed. I have to express to be able to feed my child. And that expressing is not going to be that very simple. It's not going to be as cheap as just taking a formula, putting in a bottle and feeding your child, because you'll have to think of, I need to buy a pump. And if you're even doing hand expressing, you still need at least something to put in your milk, which is the same as formula anyway. And also it takes a bit of time. It takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of patience. You also have to eat well, because that food you're eating, that energy you're giving your body will be converted into the calories that you need for sure for yourself, but also it will be what will be used as the raw material to kind of manufacture or kind of in a way influence the composition of the breast milk. And so it's not as just black and white as you think. There's so much to think about when it comes to breastfeeding and when it comes to the quality of the milk and things like that. So it's not that cheap as my friend will say, and it's not that free as my friend will say, even though I've always argued and said breast milk is not the same as formula. That's not just from me, that's research that has been done. We've also done some research in my group where we've seen there's some things like human milk oligosaccharide that are in breast milk, things like antibodies that are in breast milk that can only be in breast milk, and you cannot find a similar equivalent in the formula milk. So if you're able to breastfeed or give your child breast milk, that's what I usually advocate for. Please go ahead and do that. Don't be deceived and say, oh well, formula is an easy option. It helps you with being able to lose weight quickly and things like that, because at the end of the day, it's a season, right? Our children will breastfeed for a season. I've never seen a child or an adult who's still breastfeeding, because at the end of the day, it's for a season, and after that season is gone, our children will be independent, they will be weaned off, and we can have our lives back to do whatever that we want to do to be able to lose weight. And so I was thinking, like, once I get this out of the way, I myself at the moment, I'm challenging myself to say, Claire, you can still be able to effectively, in a good way, be able to start thinking about the journey of weight loss, even though you're still breastfeeding your child. And so I have decided to do a bit of a challenge to myself, like 6 weeks challenge, just where I'm challenging myself to eat more protein. I'm challenging myself to drink more. I'm challenging myself to sleep a little bit more. I know it's much not that straightforward. It all depends on my baby, when she decides and what she decides to do. But whenever she's sleeping, I can be able to get myself to sleep and also be able to go back. I'm still doing my walks every single day. If you've been here even for a minute to be tracking with me, you know I do almost every daily. I do walks. I want to be able to exercise, be able to ensure that I'm meeting at maximum 2,100 calories, because you know, as a woman, you need about 2,000 calories to be able to function properly, to just maintain your weight. But if you want to lose, of course, you have to be less than that. If you want to gain, you have to go more than that. But because I'm going to be breastfeeding still, breastfeeding can help you lose up to about 500 calories through just the day when you're breastfeeding. That means I have a little bit plus or minus 500 calories to work around with. And also, when I go to work, I still burn some calories. So if I aim to get to about 2,100 calories per day, I will still be able to have enough macronutrients, but also ensuring that the food that I'm eating is very healthy, so that I have my micronutrients, but also be able to just listen to my body. If I feel hungry and I need a little bit more snacking, well, I'll go for it, because at the end of the day, this is a season that is more devoted and dedicated to the well-being of my child. And of course, I still want to do that in a healthy way. So I just thought I'll put that out there. Thank you, my friend, for challenging me to think about these things and to say, hey, it is not because of the convenience that some women get to the formula. Well, if you don't have an option to breastfeed, fed is the most important thing. I usually say fed is what matters the most. So if you're out there, mamas, and you are struggling with this journey like me, you're thinking of, I need to lose weight, but I still also need to be able to breastfeed my child. You're not alone. Track along with me. Come back here one day, one of these days. Might be updating as we go along. I wouldn't lie that I'll be able to do frequent updating, because nowadays recording feels like a valuable thing. It feels like one of those things that you really have to be intentional about it, because I just don't have the time to do it. But if I'm able to, I'll be able to come back and just feedback to you guys and say how this has been working out for me. And if you want to share with this journey with me, why not just click on that subscribe button? It will go a long way with helping you be able to track with me what I'm doing, but also for me to be able to reach out to you. And if you can be able to click that notification, you'll hear every time I post something about my journey. And of course, so alongside that, if you want to like this, will go a long way in supporting what you're doing. So to those breastfeeding mamas out there, cheers to you. Kudos, you're doing a great job. Don't be discouraged. One day will come, we'll get our bodies back and we will be able to shred them. But before we get there, let's enjoy every single day, every single moment of our little ones are having the right nutrition for life. Have a great day.